This is Lecture 3.3, the Union Process. Part of employee relations may be working with unions, or alternately, working on union avoidance. In your career as a HR professional, you may either work with an organization that has unions, or with an organization which becomes unionized, or an organization trying to stay in a non-union environment. In many organizations, management and union work amicably together. In others, it's a very contentious relationship, which hinders moving some initiatives forward. In this module, we'll take a look at the process of how unions are formed, the definition of collective bargaining, the impact a union has, and what practices they need to adhere to. We'll also look at how you might improve union relations and how you might keep unions at bay. Let's first take a look at that process. Why unions? Unions represent the interest of its members, predominantly in the areas of employment. They are largely concerned with the relations between workers and employers, and typically get involved in grievances around areas such as wages, benefits, transfers, discipline, dismissals, and promotions. Their working foundation includes providing protection against potential arbitrary actions taken by their employers. Many of the reasons that previously drove employees to unions or to unionize themselves have waned. While unions still bargain in some instances, even while legislation and regulations have been put in place to help protect employees against unfair labor practices, modern unions mostly see themselves as employee advocates. For non-unionized environments, it's important to understand why employees join a union, so you can avoid union challenges. There are many reasons why employees might join a union. For example, employees may seek legal support. They may want representation or more representation in formal meetings. Union members may get better deals on things like insurance or other benefits. Employees might want the union to negotiate pay deals for them. They may also be drawn to a union when there is a mistrust of management, or if employees feel they can't express their opinions or concerns that they're not being heard. This chart gives you an overview of the process that occurs in union formation. For a union to be formed, the employee must desire representation by a union, and there needs to be appropriate numbers. So the union will begin organizing and trying to get membership up. With appropriate numbers, negotiations may lead to developing a union contract, and that contract then may be approved, and then may be administered. Once the bargain unit has been certified by the Labor Relations Board, the employer and the union must begin bargaining in good faith over the terms and conditions of the collective agreement. One example of what might be covered in collective agreement is grievance procedure, which is a formal procedure that provides for the union to represent members and non-members in processing a grievance. Unions are prohibited from interfering with the formation of an employer's organization, and unions cannot intimidate or coerce employees to become or remain members of the union. They can't force employers to dismiss, discipline, or discriminate against non-union employees. And unions must provide fair representation for all employees in the bargaining unit. If there are major disagreements between a union and an employer, there are several ways a union can demonstrate their demands, or try to coerce management. These might include strikes, or actions that are just short of a strike. By encouraging members to break their contractual obligation to attend work, it may cause the organization to break its contractual obligations to customers, clients, or suppliers. Short of a strike, unions may encourage what might be called go slow, which includes conducting the bare minimum work to meet contractual obligations and nothing more. The union employees might refuse to carry out a specific task, or refuse to work with a specific person. A full strike, on the other hand, is a complete stoppage of work over a number of days, or might take the form of a series of shorter strikes, which may or may not include employee picketing. Obviously, the impact of unionization on management is substantial in these cases. The union can challenge management prerogatives or challenge decisions about the workplace or about how employees might be disciplined or how work should be carried out that involves unionized employees. In short, management may lose some of their supervisory authority in dealing with unions. In collective bargaining, both management and the unions have shared power. This bargaining power is the power of labor management to achieve their goals through economic, social, or political influence. As previously stated, unions can display their power by boycotts, picketing, striking, etc. And management can in turn, for example, hire replacement workers if the strike is carried out. So it's in the best interest of both the organization and the union to ensure the best possible working relationship to meet the needs of both the company and the employees. Let's take a look at ways to improve union relations when those relations exist within your organization. First, ensure that you set up regular times to meet with union reps and maintain accessibility to appropriate levels within both the union and management groups. Second, understand the union's roles, and vice versa. They should understand the roles of management. Conduct short, effective, and realistic bargaining so that it's not drawn out and it's effective as possible. Both parties need to be open-minded and ready to change direction or back down if need be, and the organization needs to take responsibility for joint training and coaching of managers and representatives that are involved in the relationship. Management should always communicate directly with employees as well as union reps. The organization, and HR in particular, should do its best to listen to employee concerns and address them before union reps get involved. Invite union reps and managers to join trainings, and support and encourage dialogue between senior management and union staff. To maintain a non-union status requires the recognition by organizations that being union-free is not a one-time decision, but rather a constant commitment to positive employee relations and union-free management. Implementing and executing union-free strategies requires careful attention to employee needs, effective company communication, and company-wide commitment to safety, to quality team relations, customer relations, and overall corporate success. The importance of communication, as discussed in the previous lecture, cannot be overstated if the organization wants to remain union-free. It would also behoove the organization to train their managers in new organizing tactics. They need to be trained in the people skills that will enable them to build a strong rapport with the people they manage. Employers whose managers play favorites, that don't communicate, that ignore individual employee circumstances or refuse to explain themselves, who are inconsistent in their discipline or other policies, those managers are effectively inviting a union into the company. Be fair, consistent, and appropriate in discipline and evaluation. Managers and employers should also concern themselves with systematic employee recognition, from pats on the back to public rewards. Systematic means more than just a commitment. Employers need a formal game plan to recognize employees, how often and to what degree and in what venue and to what audience they are recognized. Employees who feel that their contributions are appreciated are historically much less likely to look to outside parties such as unions for assistance. Employers need to show their employees that they need not fear at-will employment, and that they'll get a measured and fair approach from their management, with or without a union. This becomes another important area in the larger function of employee relations.